Now, the Department of Home Affairs has come under fire once again. Thousands of illegal foreign workers have been unable to renew their long-time waiver and visa applications due to delays caused by a backlog at the department. Now, as an effort to address the problem, applications received before the 31st of March have been given an extension that will expire on the 31st of December this year. Now, all visitors on short-term visas whose validity was issued for less than 90 days are excluded from the temporal measure and have also been required to depart before or on the date of the expiry of the validity period of those visas. And to give us more information on what exactly is going on and also respond to the interview that we had earlier, we are joined virtually by Minister of Home Affairs, Dr. Aaron Motsoaledi. Dr. Motsoaledi, good to have you with us. Welcome to Morning Live.
Thank you, Sakina. Good morning to the listeners and viewers of Morning Live.
So, Minister, going back to Monday, there was a statement released by Business Leadership South Africa saying that 56,000 foreigners have been impacted by a waiver and visa application delay by your department. Let's just start off with the veracity and the accuracy of that particular statement.
Yeah, no, Sakina, I read the statement from Business Leadership South Africa, from Busiswe Mabuso. I also listened to her to 702 yesterday. They gave a lengthy interview. I also listened when they replayed the interview this morning, and I said I was confused. Let me start there. She was talking about the President's Investment Summit, that when people pledge money in the Investment Summit, they are going to bring expatriates here to make sure that those investments come to reality. And Home Affairs is not playing ball. That's the first thing she said. The second thing she said, she was triggered to write what she wrote because she met some international teachers from France, the French international teachers who were also complaining. Now, let me tell you what confused me. The President's last investment summit, Sakina, was last year. I'm not sure whether it was July or round about there. After which the companies that pledged is U.S. Trade and Development Agency, German Trade Development Agency, French Trade Development Agency, Korea Trade Commission, Japanese Trade Industry Commission, MTN, Ford, Toyota, Amazon, Mercedes, Y, Frampton, Transhara, Leroy, Unica, ArcelorMittal, Pucha, Glencore, and many others. I'm just mentioning the big ones here. Between them, there are 19. The main ones are 19 and others. Between them, they gave us 3,090 expatriates, engineers, technicians, etc., who needed to come to South Africa in lieu of their commitments. And by October last year, we've already finalized all of them. All of them are at work. They are doing their work. Ford even came to thank us. They were even able to launch this Ford Raptor, which you see all over your TV screens. You guys advertise it continuously. They were able to launch that because we gave them visas. They gave us 200 names, which were essential. But the point is, all the 3,090 expatriates who have to help in this investment, by October last year, all of them were having visas. The second thing that confuses me is that other people away from the President Investment Summit, like people who applied for business visas, there were 109. We have completed 80. We are left with 29. If 29 is what raises the storm, we concede, Sakina. The work visas, there were 649 applications. We have issued 601. We are left with 48. If that 48 raises is the one that raises the storm, we also concede. Now, that's business now. The others have got nothing to do with business. The ones you say Busiswe Mabuso was complaining about, the 54,000, they've got nothing to do with business. These are various categories of visas, the majority of which, at least 24,894, are spousal visas for people who are spouses of people who sojourn in South Africa, either as residents or permanent residents. But the problem is that they don't just want to come and visit their spouses. They are coming here to work. And you know the problems of work, how we must go through the processes, because South Africans also want work. The other number, 9,154, are spouses who just want to come in but are not necessarily looking for opportunities for work. The other category, 2,467, are religious leaders, people who are coming to conferences, and people who are coming to be visiting lecturers at universities. We're still busy with that. I can go on and on. I've got the whole table here. Now, that's why I'm saying it confuses me. Why are we issuing a concession, Sakina? What you are talking about is a concession. Really, it's a concessionaire. The concession we issued for the fourth time, we've been issuing them throughout COVID, and you know the circumstances behind it. And last year, immediately the state of disaster was lifted, we got an avalanche of applications, 97,000 people, because they could not apply before because borders of all countries, not only South Africa, were closed and there was no movement of people. So 97,000 woke up and applied. We have finalized 43,000, and we are left with this number, which I'm mentioning, the 54,000, which we are dealing with, but they've got nothing to do with business. And I forgot to tell you, 1,223 of them are retirement visas, people who just want to come here and retire. And the story that this can collapse the economy and business, I really don't understand it. Now comes the French teachers. I'm not sure why they mentioned French. There were also German teachers. Let me start with the French because they are the subject of what Business Leadership South Africa spoke about. Sakina, 10 people who wanted to come here and teach in the International French School applied from Paris. 9 came by country-to-country treaty. 10 applied locally, to a total of 29. All of them, we have issued them their visas early in January before the schools could reopen. So I am still confused exactly what is this storm all about.
So, Minister, we spoke to an immigration lawyer earlier, and she said that they are dealing with concerns from worried clients who are not certain about their visa applications and whether these will be approved by the 31st of December. She spoke of, a lack of resources, for example, at the Department of Home Affairs, also the attitudes of some of the officials. So, are you able to give any assurances in this regard and also speak to the concerns that are being raised?
No, Sakina, I'm actually happy that you call her an immigration lawyer because quite often they are called immigration experts. Sakina, there is no immigration lawyer who has ever been happy with us since COVID. And I'll tell you what. COVID all over the world means you close borders, means people can't travel. Any immigration lawyer, their income derives from people crossing borders. If there are no people crossing borders, they get very irritated and they point their finger at anybody, and it so happens they point their finger at Home Affairs because they are deriving no income if people are not coming in. And so they resorted to you people in the media to do huge reputational damage to the state that were doing nothing simply because their pockets are empty. And it's not because I hate them, it's the situation, it's not us. In the past, when people were just crossing the borders willy-nilly, it was very good for them. But after COVID, when countries close borders, for them, nobody is good enough. And that's why I'm saying I'm happy that you call her an immigration lawyer. It will be unfair, Sakina, for me to come to the TV as I'm doing here now and assure one immigration lawyer about her clients when there are many other lawyers who have got clients who are not assured by anybody. It's unfair. It means you are and me are inadvertently promoting a business, and that should not be allowed.
Well, Minister, as we round this up, because I think the explanation is there and people will make up their minds and decide on how this goes, as you say, the reputational damage to the department and the country notwithstanding. This new deadline, we understand, excludes applications received after the 31st of March. So what will happen to those applications, the ones that fall under the group that would be after the 31st of March? And also, with regard to the backlog, Minister, is there a timeline as to when this will be cleared?
Sakina, it's not true also, this 90. days after 31st of March. I don't know where it came from. Let me tell you why we issued this concession. When you apply for a reapplication, because some of these people are reapplications, when you apply, you have got a visa that is going to come to an end. All we are saying is when you have got a receipt, that receipt serves as a proof that you have actually applied, even if the time for your visa expires. As long as you have got a receipt that proves that you have applied, there is no problem altogether. The reason we issued this questionnaire up to the 31st of December is that some of them might like to travel in the meantime. And this is the law in South Africa, Sakina. When your passport shows that you are supposed to leave the country at a particular time and you don't leave, whether you have got the receipt or not, the guys at the borders don't know that. They look at the date and they stamp your passport undesirable. Then you won't be able to come into South Africa for the next 5 years. Now, we don't want to be running around the borders and waiting for each and every individual. What we did was to issue a blanket concessionaire so that when they go through the borders, they are not troubled by anybody. That's why we issued this concessionaire. As I've already told you, the 97,000 out of this, the 97,000 applications we have got, we've already completed 43,000 within a short space of time. We're left with 54. We will complete them, but if they qualify, because it does not mean, and this is what I'm hearing people say, that anybody who has applied for anything, then they qualify to get it. Some do not get it, and they get very angry, and they rush to you and say something is not happening. So, Sakina, I want you to understand these issues. But what you are doing in Home Affairs, we are doing our best. We have realized that the people who must deal with these visas, because their processing include interpreting international law, international convention, the constitution, PAJA, etc. It needs lawyers. We have just hired 18 lawyers and we are busy training them. I heard your immigration lawyer already dismissing that and saying she's not sure about their capacity and all that. These are legally trained people. They've got LLBs, they've got what? But we didn't just put them on the job. They spend the whole month being orientated about this immigration, but she's already dismissing them, even before starting work, even before seeing their CVs. This talks to prejudice, Sakina, more than anything else. Prejudice of a person whose income depends on open borders and everybody just marching in, and unfortunately things are not happening that way.
Minister, we are out of time, but a quick question here from one of our viewers, Bratloni. He says, SK, can you please ask Minister Motsoaledi, and this is totally unrelated to the issue at hand, Minister. He says, can you ask Minister Motsoaledi if his department issued a death certificate for Tabo Bester, and if so, what was the recorded cause of death? So I don't know if you have that information at hand, Minister.
I do, but unfortunately, Sakina, is part of investigation by the Hawks. And if he goes to a Hawks and they are prepared to disclose that, is up to them. But for me, being a person who was approached by them, unfortunately, I can't disclose that because they may accuse me of destroying their investigation, Sakina. I'm very sorry about that, but I do have that information, yes.
Fair enough. Minister, we're going to leave it there. Thanks so much, Dr. Aaron Motsoaledi, the Minister of Home Affairs, talking to us about the temporary extension given to long-term visa applicants that have expired by the 31st of March, and just giving a broad explanation of what's to happen with regard to that concession.